Mhm. I just wanted to mention, yes, mm, that I did want a wife. Yeah, wanted one of those trophy wives. Yes, a real gift from the Lord. It was a reward for being a good and faithful servant. And I thought, as much as Marilyn might want to co-parent with me, she does fit the description of being a trophy. Yes. Somebody I'd like to put on the pedestal that looks very attractive, that would want to parent with me. A real gift from God. Now, the coming mountain of e-waste, a trophy wife, a metricus. What kind of relationship is? We know we're not married. This is my wife, Marilyn. She's a trophy from the Lord. For all the time that I had mentioned that I wanted to speak to her, talking about her as being a trophy. A lot of very well-to-do couples, they get one of those. Yeah, where the wife doesn't do squat, but the man's always working. He's always working. Now, this mountain of e-waste is something I was wanting for myself. I'm always looking at different kinds of garbage. There's $71 billion dollars on telecommunications equipment in 2017. Yeah, is that how much we spent? Nearly five times of what they spent in 2010, even when adjusted for inflation. According to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, Apple alone sold 60 million iPhones domestically last year, according to the Counterpoint research. Yeah. I'd like to have all this e-waste, and for those in Fresno, California, processing approximately 60 billion pounds of discarded electronics already processed monthly in recycling. Well, where is all that? See, I probably could turn it into something useful. Now we're spending tons and tons of money about this environmental concerns of e-waste. Yeah. Could you, well, Apple Corporation right now. I know I'm not a big fan of Steve Jobs. A lot of people were, isn't that right? His ex-wife? Yeah. And I thought that I would get those lithium ion batteries and recycle them into something useful. Yeah. It seems that everything's lithium ion, and I know what lithium is, but what does ion mean? Yeah. See, I was thinking about it the other night. I was like, well, one word is lithium, and it has dash ion. Yes. Remove dangerous components like lithium ion. I mean, what could you do with a used cell phone battery? Let's say I had a million of them. I threw them into a large vat, and do I heat them up or do I freeze them? Quite often when you think about them no longer being able to hold a charge, there's always this thought that we should be recycling anything that is lithium and ion. Yeah. Now, I could do a lot with it probably. If you put it in a casket, surrounded in desalinated salt, yes. Split a small amount of large particle nuclear waste in it. Yeah. Put a little electricity to it so as to absorb all the energy giving off by. Oh, you mean you could use lithium ion batteries, old lithium ion batteries, in a type of atomic fusion that could produce more electricity than what it uses? Oh, why don't we look at the thought of encasing? Yes, yes, yes. Use lithium ion batteries in desalinated salt, putting a small amount of atomic particle in the middle of it, in a casket approximately 6 feet long and 2.5 feet wide. Now, I know a lot of you are wanting to buy those caskets because you don't want to decompose. But what happens to. Oh, is that right? What substance could be used inside of a casket to cause the radiating energy of atomic particles to be absorbed? Yes. So that if you were to remove the energy from it, yeah, it could be useful to the electric grid as possible electricity. Yeah. Now, this is something we really have to study, won't we? Yeah. Why don't? Well, I think we should really research and develop. Well, of all of the used lithium ion batteries that you could encase in high temperature desalinated solid, approximately 2500, 3500 degrees Fahrenheit, if you were to encase that around the actual nuclear, I have a technology to get rid of all nuclear waste. It's something I wanted to do. Of all the nuclear waste, I know they store it in salt. There's a place in New Mexico. Yeah. I wanted to heat it up to approximately 3 to 4,000 degrees. Yeah. Get rid of all. No, I. It's something I personally want to do for myself. Okay, that I would like to get rid of the world's nuclear waste. Okay, I would like to have ownership of the spent fuel rods. Yes. I would like to melt down the spent fuel rods using large particle atomic waste that happens to be the result of getting away. Yeah. Well, let's say you had a spent fuel rod and you're getting rid of the nuclear waste because you're heating it up, turning it to steam, using that to produce electricity. Yes, because all of this is in barrels, it's actual barrels of food. Well, when you make nuclear power, you use a water substance to keep the spent fuel rods cool. That's what nuclear waste is. You can steam it, and you can separate the atomic nuclear particles from the actual nuclear waste itself. That's what I use for large particle atomic waste. Yes. I could take a spent fuel rod, yes, cut it into about a 4-inch length, yes, melt it down, throw the atomic particle into it since it's already spent fuel. Yeah, as in it's radioactive anyways. Does it really matter? No, it doesn't matter. I could encase it in used lithium ion batteries and I could put desalinated salt casket around it. Yeah, if I put some electricity to it, exactly what would be the effect of that?